I want to play a couple of things here, just a couple of pieces of audio that I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable with. Here's White Women for Kamala, cut 1, about women's privilege.
White women. I mean, here we are. I have to admit, when I was writing stuff down, I was like, Karens for Kamala? I don't know. Why is it so difficult, as Glennon was saying, to acknowledge and address ourselves as white women? But here we are, and I am so proud for all of us to be together as women, as white women. We are the ones that have the privilege, of course, and we too have had to fight and continue to fight for our equality, our selfhood, our freedom. But we have whatever privileges our white male counterparts have had the mercy and good sense to bestow on us. And then whatever else of it we have managed to take for ourselves, often being led by, as many have said earlier tonight, the leadership of our sisters of color who have fought and continue to fight for their righteous place on God's green earth.
Yeah. Yeah, so white women have the privilege. They're now apparently the ruling class, I think. That's what she was saying. And they wanted to make it very clear when they started this Zoom call. One of the influencers really wanted to make sure that nobody makes any mistakes on this phone call. Cut 4.
I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online. Don't make it about yourself. As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots.
Okay. All right. Well, let's bring on Bridget Phetasy. And please check your blind spot, Bridget, if you will, please.
Please acknowledge that I'm the most powerful person on this call right now.
Yeah, you are. You have all the white women privilege. And you really are going to be the one that turns this whole thing around, you white women.
Glenn, do you understand that it is up to me and my people to save the world? Literally save the world. It is up to us. If we don't get it together, the world will end.
Yeah. They said that. I know you know that. They said that yesterday. That it is up to the white women. Oh my gosh. Do women, are there a lot of women that think this way? That are like fine with, you know what, I have so much to learn and so little to say and so much to unlearn. But I'm the most powerful person here. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh.
It's such a weird, humble brag in a strange way. It's like at the same time you're saying you are, I was saying this yesterday to you actually, and talking to my friends about this. You have to have the world view. You have to start with the premise that it is actually white supremacy. You have to believe you are better than everyone else, and that it is up to you to lift up all of these people, these poor people who can't help themselves, and speak to everybody like they're toddlers. We need to put our listening ears on and talk.
Oh my gosh.
It's insanity, but I do think it's a way for people. What is more important than saving the world while also somehow humbling yourself and recognizing your privilege? It's still all ego. It's so gross. It's so gross.
Is this
about this
popular? Is this going to work, Bridget?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like I went offline for a couple days just to take a break from mainlining X, and I came back on, and it was like 2016 with flavors of 2020 all over again. And this didn't it didn't work in 2016. You know, all of this, like
Right.
I feel like, oh, we're just going to run a very unlikable politician that people have openly said they don't like. We're going to astroturf the entire media with, oh, look at how cool this person is, with celebrities and white dudes for Harris and white women for Kamala, weird Zoom calls. We're going to make it seem like this is all very popular, except it's not. And then they're going to be out marching in their knitted pink hats, you know, the day after the election. I don't think this feels like, it feels like, I don't know. It feels manufactured to me, all of it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You heard that everybody's now calling Trump and J.D. Vance weird. And I think it's weird that everybody started saying it at the same time. And I think, Bridget, that this is the new strategy where he was a danger to the republic. People are so sick and tired of hearing all of this, and they just want somebody just to be normal with them. And so I think it's a way to have, you know, Donald Trump or whoever say, the woman is a socialist. And then they go, you know, they're just weird. They're just weird. Yeah. I mean, I'm more like you. We're just laughing it off. That seems to me to be a dangerous strategy for the right.
It's very dangerous. I'm obsessed with this weird thing this morning. I was going down all these rabbit holes for numerous reasons. One, it's clearly like the memo went out and this is, you know, blatant astroturfing. Then there's the strange weaponization of the word weird by a party that has been cool coded. It's been Lady Gaga was weird and her little monsters. And this was something that was always very left-wing dominated. We're going to make weird cool. So they were the ones who said, no, you can't use weird. But then there was all this language of ableism that came out, and you couldn't say crazy and you couldn't say insane and you couldn't. And I was looking at all the lists this morning, and weird is either it's been retroactively removed, which I wouldn't be surprised, but it might have been the one word that they were like, hey, what can we call him that we're not going to get yelled at for? And weird isn't on any of these lists, strangely. And as I was talking to my editor at The Spectator about, we were texting, and he was saying, you know, to win the general, you have to seem normal. And it's whoever is normal. And now they've made weird this, you know, step to creepy, like one step away from creepy. But I don't know if you should be doing that if you have guys like Sam Britton and Rachel Levine on your side. I mean, you can't. That seems like a bad idea for the left to make weird one step away from creepy, because they have way more weird people that represent them than I would say the mainstream right wing.
If I may, however, you know, it's always the happy warrior that America wants to be with. And so if they are seen as almost mocking themselves, you know, Karens for Kamala, and they're not taking themselves so seriously, even though on the call they took themselves like godlike seriously, and they're calling them weird, and then you say, really? That's weird. How about the dude that's stealing women's suitcases that you had watching over our nukes? And then their response is, see, I mean, you're just bigoted and hatred, full of hatred. I mean, you're weird, but you're also bigoted. And we're just having, I keep coming back to what she said at the very end of that phone call with Barack and Michelle, or Big Mike. She said, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this, aren't we? And it was so fake. But I think that's what they're going for. I think they're just going to laugh their way through this. It's just going to be fun. We're just going to have fun.
Yeah, I think they realized a couple of things, which is it's smart of them to course correct. They seem to have leaned back into okay, America isn't horrible like we've been saying and preaching in academia, and we're going to re-embrace the American flag. They seem to have been saying, like, they realized, the RNC, for whatever, idiocracy it might have seemed like, it was fun. It was like people having fun. And I was saying this on Twitter. They're like, oh, look what they're projecting. I'm like, they're projecting fun, this thing that Americans like to have and generally have. And I think they're realizing they're not seen as the fun party. They're seen as the scolds now, and the pearl clutchers and the authoritarians who are checking everyone's language. And so I don't know. They're not going to be able. That's not. You can't say this is a weird paradox. You can't say this is the end of democracy. And oh, look how weird JD Vance is. It doesn't carry this. They're trying to like walk this tightrope, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. You can't be calling everybody bigoted and racist and that this is a fascist takeover of America, and then be like, look at how weird he is, yaka yaka yaka. It's not. It's like weird. That's weird.
Yes. It is awfully strange. However, it might work for a limited time. That was the thing that I think the GOP had going for it this year, was it was full of joy and it was fun. And, it was like a respite from the end of the world. And it was still serious, had its serious moments when it needed to be, but it was fun. And I think that's what gave the wind in the sails of the Republicans and Donald Trump. And I think that's what they're going for. I could be wrong. I want to hold for 1 minute, if you will, Bridget. I want to ask you about how would you, if you're Donald Trump, how would you handle Kamala Harris? What would you do in a debate? What would your strategy be? Bridget, tell me about, Donald Trump has to switch fighting strategies because she's a different fighter than Joe Biden. So he's got to come to a whole new world. What would your approach be or recommendation on debating her and taking her on?
Gosh, I'm not, some brilliant advisor to the people, but
but you're a white woman, and so you have all the power in the world.
Well, I'm obviously the most knowledgeable person on this call, as we mentioned. I just want everyone to put their listening ears on Donald Trump and catch a bubble. Maybe he should talk to her like she's a toddler. I don't know. I think, they get away with not having to focus a lot on the fact that she's basically now saying, oh, I lied about everything I said in 2020. Now it's like she's totally pivoting. I think you call her out on that constantly and try and nail her down on what she actually believes. Because does anyone really know? It seemed like she was quite radical. I believe she's from California, so I know what they've done to that state.
She's from Berkeley, and her mom and dad were both Berkeley professors. So she's not just from California. She's not the average Californian. She is way off the deep end.
California.
Yeah. So she was saying the other day that, and the press was helping her, that Donald Trump was accusing her of having these certain viewpoints. What was it, Stu, that they said that she was being accused of? And it was her stated policy.
Yeah, she was accused of wanting to ban fracking.
Right.
She said multiple times on debate stages over and over again.
Right. But that was Donald Trump accusing her.
Yeah, I love when the right wing pounces on things that have been spoken in direct quotes by that person.
Yeah.
There's
just
that. I also think the right wing needs to stay away from the commentary, the commentators, the childless thing. There's a lot of women who wanted to have kids who couldn't. I think there are a lot of independent women who have been pushed. There's literally men boxing women right now. Men boxing women, and you're calling other people weird, people who support this? Like, focus on the erosion of women's rights on the left in policy. It's not just I think you have to stay away from all that childless stuff. That's not good. That's not helpful. It turns people off. It turns people away. He's got to pivot. He's got to kind of distance himself from that. I actually think he was really smart in even if a lot of the right wing doesn't agree, and being a little bit more moderate on abortion. Like, he was kind of doing the right thing to win a general election. And now he's going to have to step it up. But I really think all you have to do is just keep forcing her to reiterate what she believes.
Well, she believes in Venn diagrams, and she likes yellow school buses, but who doesn't? Bridget Phetasy, thank you so much. Host of Walk-Ins Welcome. You can find her podcast every day. Bridget Phetasy. Thank you so much, Bridget. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Bye, Stu.
God bless. Bye-bye.